Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Crypto Insider channel. Thanks for stopping by. Go ahead and click the like and subscribe buttons if you like the content and want to see more of it. Usual disclaimer applies. I am not a financial advisor or a registered retirement planner or anything like that. I'm just getting back into crypto. I sold sort of very close to the top of the market in 2017, and then I stayed out of it. So this whole big downward trend we've seen with XRP, I pretty much stayed out of it. Started DCAing back in September again, and I think my buy-in price is about a quarter, 0.25 cents. So, I'm down a little bit, but I avoided that whole steep thing. I'm the type of person I kind of make my money and get out. If I go to a casino and I hit $1,000 with the first spin on the slot machine, I'm leaving in 3 minutes. I'm in, out, done. I wanted to make this video because saw a Twitter discussion uh, the other day, and there's not a lot of news going around right now. It's a weekend. Everyone saw the $200 million investment, the Series C funding. Um, there's not a lot of new information on the weekends that isn't immediately blasted out everywhere. So I wanted to make a video that might be a little bit controversial. If you've been watching the channel, you know I don't like FUD, uh, but I also don't like hype. And so I saw a Twitter discussion they were talking about some of the YouTube personalities create an echo chamber of people parroting back to them the same stuff that they're putting out there. And so there's no meaningful, constructive discussion. There's just people parroting talking points between each other, and they sort of start ignoring reality. Meanwhile, the price keeps going down and down and down and down. So I wanted to make a video that says, when should I stop HODLing? And I think that's something that's fair to talk about. When should you stop HODLing? um, and I'm not going to stop HODLing. Like I said, I got in at 25 cents as my DCA. I'd hate to lose it all, but I'm willing to write it down to zero. For me, there's nothing. There would be nothing worse than the price getting down so low to like 7 cents. I sell all the XP I have. I sell my bag, and the next day it just starts, going through the roof. But that might be for some people. I mean, if you're like the majority of investors and you're emotional about XRP, and it's just keeping you up at night, as I'm sure it is some people in the community, then it might be wise to get out there. One of the things you'll see, and I've seen it like I said, I just came back in September, and what I've seen since then, just since September, is well, when this MoneyGram earnings report comes out, you're really going to see the price of XRP swell. That's when you're really going to see it take off. And then it was, maybe MoneyGram hasn't done it yet. They're just one company. The Swell conference that's coming up here in pretty soon. When you see the Swell conference happen, we're really going to get a bump then. Well, that came and went, and there wasn't a bump. And so a lot of people have been holding XRP for a long time. They want a bump. And it doesn't appear to be happening. And I'm going to contribute this sentiment. I think the next real place to see an XRP bump of a significant magnitude is in July of 2020. And I say that purely and only because of the Bitcoin halvening. Usually a couple months after the halvening, we see its effect on the price of Bitcoin. And if we've been following the markets at all, we know that as Bitcoin goes, so does XRP. So what I would say, me personally, if you were just too emotional and you said, hey, when should I get out? Or when would you get out, rather? Because remember, I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm just saying, if I was emotional and thought, oh, I need to get out of here. If July came around and we hadn't seen noticeable appreciation in breakouts, uh, and it was maybe even getting close to August. In fact, we'd gone the other way. In fact, maybe we're down to 8 cents or 7 cents. So if we get down 50% of where we are today, basically, and looking at the screen, coinalyze.net, we're at 0.19108. Now I could refresh it, and in fact, I should refresh it. But if we get down to about half of that and it's July or August, I would say that's a good time. I mean, where we'd be approaching a point where the market was saying this isn't worth anything. Despite all the good news, despite all the progress, this technology just is not catching on and is not being adopted and used in the way that we thought it would be. Personally, like I said, I'll hold it down to zero because that's just my nature, and I hate to be wrong too. But you got to understand, Jonestown was filled with 700 people that hate to be wrong. That's how cults stay in business. That's how they retain members. Nobody likes to be wrong about anything at any time, except scientists. A good scientist loves to be proven wrong because it means there's a whole lot more work for them to do and new formulas to recreate. But if you're not a scientist, chances are you don't want some Bitcoin maxi to be able to say, "Hey, see, we told you this investment was bunk way back then. You didn't listen, and now you're out everything." That would suck, admittedly. But I don't think we're there yet. I know we have this long downtrend. We have this long descending resistance for a long time now on the chart. Um, but I still think there's potential there. And if I didn't, I would say that. And I would say, hey, now's the time. But I agree with some of the other technical analysis. I don't do chart analysis myself. I mean, I'll glance at them for my own personal, whatever. But I'm not nearly the chart analyst that a lot of people on YouTube and Twitter are. So let me say that. That I will glance at them and I will take them for what they are, which is showing us one possibility. Somebody that comes to a price prediction or a cyclical timeline is only giving you one possibility. And there are so many other things that can affect the price. News, FOMO, let's say, Brad Garlinghouse gets caught running some sort of Ponzi scheme or something like that. Some unexpected weird news can greatly alter the trajectory. So we're just looking. A chart is kind of going to give you perfect conditions, assuming there's no major hurdles like scandal or a big competitor. Our market, one of the terms you hear about the market a lot is the term nascent, and I prefer the term formative. I don't know who used the term nascent once, and now everybody uses it because they think it makes them sound smarter. Nascent basically means a new formative market, and crypto is a nascent market in that regard. But I wish they would just say formative or new rather than trying to sound very smart, because if you're just watching these videos or just getting into it, there's no real point to talking over people's heads. But that's a whole separate discussion. Where was I going on this? Yeah, and the problem we have in our nascent market, one of the big problems is it is not immediately apparent to the average Joe how our market benefits them. So if I tell you I'm opening a great new company and it's going to change your life for the better in ways that you never even dreamed of, your first question is going to be, well, what what do you do? What do you sell? What is the product? And we have a hard time answering that question sometimes. Like, we know what it does, and you try to explain XRP as being a decentralized blockchain currency and how it can assist with the remittance payments and solve some other issues. And people are gonna say, oh, so it's Bitcoin. Um, that's the level of understanding we're at with the general public. So if telephones didn't exist, and we said we went back to Alexander Graham Bell days, and I told someone we're coming out with this telephone. You are going to be able to talk to your relative who lives 20 miles down the road in real time. You'll be able to pick up a device, talk into it. They can do the same thing, and it'll be amazing. That is easily explainable and understood. There's nobody on Earth at the time that probably thought that was a bad idea. There might have been, I'm sure there's always a crazy naysayer, but for the most part, it's easily explainable, even if they don't understand all the technology behind it. And I feel like we have a harder time getting that message across and demonstrating its value to most people because uh, we're at the point where we're used to things just working. So if you go on your bank account, and my background is all financial, and I shouldn't say financial because it makes it sound like I'm a financial planner. No, my background is all banking. And demand deposit accounts and everything that comes with that. So if you log on to your bank account and you view your statement, or you log on to a bank and you open an account, you do some transactions, you look at a statement, for you, you think you're just going to one website and you think that everything's occurring right there for you. And there are about 60 different entities, SSO logins, and API calls out to other places in that scenario that I just mentioned, other companies, because usually one bank doesn't do all those things. Your bank doesn't uh, build the telephone software when you call in to check your balance. They don't print your statements at the bank and mail them out to you from the bank at your branch location. All this stuff occurs seamlessly to the end customer, um, and and that is kind of the way we are trying to get Ripple or try to get XRP. Nobody's going to walk into an MGI office and say, I would like to send money down the Mexican ODL corridor uh, rather than using Swift. They don't know. They just want to get their $100 to $100 worth of Mexican pesos, and they don't give a shit how it works. Excuse my French. They don't need to understand it. You don't need to understand how every part of your car works. So that's just some of the challenges I think we have, and I wanted to give you, a lot of people say, never stop holding, and that's fine. I'm probably not going to stop holding, but I do want to say that if the market's making you emotional, and you don't like it, start looking and start planning in advance your possible exit points. So, like I said, if one of them was around August, considering the price maybe had halved, then when it gets to August, review it and say, oh, we've met these criteria. The price is halved. It's now August. I need to make a determination. Is there any other news on the horizon that I think could propel the price? Any chart analysis looking like the price increase may be imminent? If not, then maybe that's the time for you to get out. Maybe you want to add a few more months on because of some news, but do your own research. Uh, it, it it always goes without saying, do your own research. If you do your own research, then you get to reap your own rewards. You can say, I put in all the due diligence and all the time, and I made this money because of it. and there's no greater feeling in the world than that. But you can also suffer your own consequences. I did all this research, I did the due diligence, but I was misled by people that had echo chambers and just blindly believed in this technology that we were not able to get off the ground, and that's a very real possibility too. And that, of course, is a bad place to end up. So, so just think about it. Let me know what you think. If you have any exit strategies of when you would get out of XRP, go ahead and pop those in the comments section. If you're like me and you believe, hey, at this point we're already down to 30, 20 cents, still way up from where XRP started, but we're down to 0.191 cents or let's just ride it till we die. Put that in the comments too. I'm very interested in what other people are doing, what their strategies are, and why. So again, thanks for stopping by. I'll probably skip a video tomorrow. Again, the weekends. Hey, let me have my weekends. Talk to you all on Monday then, probably. So thanks.